So with ChatGPT and AI dominating the headlines, it seems like every company is trying to jump on the artificial intelligence bandwagon. So when I saw that Eufy just came out with their own version of some permanent outdoor lights that specifically mention AI light design as a feature, I was intrigued. So in today's video, let's find out if Eufy's implementation of AI effects and animations ends up being a gimmick or something that leaves me very much excited on what this all could mean for the lighting industry. To kick things off, I'll be taking a look at their 100-foot kit, which is currently the only length they come in. The packaging is solid with nice colorful graphics and information on the outside. Opening the box, you'll first see individual compartments where the 6 strings of lights are located. And taking a closer look, you can see that there is one large pixel that's going to be used for the RGB lighting, and then a separate LED right here that's dedicated for your warm whites, which I am super happy they included. Next, you have the quick start information. Then they do include a positioning guide which you can use as a measuring tool for how far away from the house to install the lights. You have a bunch of clips and extra sticky pads, a 36 volt 1.5 amp power supply, the controller, and one 12-foot extension wire to use during your install if you do have a gap where you don't want the lights placed. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get everything plugged in and test out all the lights to ensure that there's no defective strips. And as long as your starting point is the controller, you can't do this wrong as they'll only connect in one direction. Now as I'm getting these put together, I can't help but think that there must not be any patents on this type of design, because from testing out other products and from videos I've seen from different permanent lights available in the market, they all appear to be pretty much identical. The type of wires, the 3-pin connection process, the watertight screw caps, the sticky pads, the number of LEDs on a string, and even the type of power supply all appear to be very similar amongst everything out there. Now that everything's connected, I'm going to go ahead and download the Eufy Life app, and just like most things these days, the setup process is very simple. Plug in your lights, push the button on the controller for 2 seconds, give it a name, connect to your Wi-Fi, and you're all set. So before I get these installed in my house, I always like to do a quick test run of the app, and for a first-time product like this from Eufy, there are a lot of things to get excited about, which I'll get into later. But for the layout, you have the Magic Show tab that's going to have all your AI tools. Over one more is the Ambiance section that has their preset color and animations that you can play around with. Next is Daily, which is going to have your warm, cool, and pure white options. And finally, Customize, that's going to allow you to change the color of every single LED on the strip, as well as choosing an animation style. Then at the bottom you have Schedule if you want to set them to go on or off at a certain time. And over on your right is your Lumino link. Now if you have other Eufy products such as their cameras, this is where you can sync them together with the lights to create different automations. So now that everything's set up and working, let's transition to getting them installed in the house to better test out all the features. Now before moving on, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura. So this is me signing up for their free 14-day trial, and during this setup process, one of the many things they do is scan the internet for data brokers that have your personal information. These data brokers then make a fortune selling your information to spammers, scammers, and other entities that want to know more about you. Now, Aura was able to find 30 such instances of my personal information being in the hands of these companies. Then, with one click, Aura sends out a notice to have my information removed from their systems, which they are legally required to do when asked. Their all-in-one platform offers antivirus protection, credit monitoring, credit lock, financial transaction alerts, secure VPN, identity protection, parental controls, 24/7 US-based customer service, and much, much more. I'll leave a link in the description for you to start your own free 14-day trial, so please make sure to check them out. Thank you all so much, and now back to the video. Now the best advice I can give you when installing these is to A, clean off the surface before you secure them to your house. I'm not doing anything special for this and only using a dry rag to wipe off the dust that might have accumulated over the years. And B, for best results, make sure all the lights are pretty close to the same distance away from the house. I'm going to be using the card they include with the kit as a guide and placing all the lights approximately 4 inches out. So right here I'm going to be connecting a second strip to the end of the first one, and this brings me to my first suggestion on how Eufy could improve the installation process. It's not a huge deal, but each light on the string is spaced out 18 inches apart. However, when you connect the second strip to the first one, the gap between the last light on the first strip and the first light on the second strip is 22 inches. Ideally, you'd want this to also be 18 inches so that you don't have to do what I'm doing here, which is bringing them closer together and having to tidy up the loose wires. And to be fair, I'm not sure if the extra 4 inches would make any noticeable difference when viewed, but I'm not going to take any chances, and it just seems like the smart decision to make sure everything is the same at 18 inches apart. Moving on, and for this little gap between the garage and home, I'm not going to do anything special. If the white wire against the blue siding is too distracting, I'll probably just end up wrapping it with some blue tape to help it blend in better. But since we only have the one 12-foot extension wire, I'm going to save that for my jump to the second level. From here, it's just more of the same, and again, I'm making sure the lights are all being placed 4 inches out from the side of the home, which is going to make the end results look a lot better compared to if there was no consistency. As I'm approaching the end of the lower level, this is where I'll be attaching the 12-foot gap wire. This does get screwed on the same way the light strips do, and it's going to be long enough to go up to the second level where I'll then continue the install. Here, I'm actually going to be starting at the end and making my way back towards the right side, and I can't remember why I ended up doing it this way, but I'm sure at the time it made sense in my head. So installation did go very smooth with nothing out of the ordinary from other products I've put up, and all that's left to do now is wait until it gets dark to start the testing. Now to begin, I want to highlight what will probably be one of the main reasons people end up buying this kit over something else, which is a combination of the warm white performance and the price it's being offered at. So for my use case, I envision having the colorful lights on full display during the holidays, but for the other 99% of the year, I just want some nice warm white accent lighting, and this kit definitely gives me what I'm looking for in that area. They also have a cool and pure white option, but these don't have the luxury of having their own dedicated LED like the warm whites do, and while it's not bad, I certainly prefer the warm white and will be sticking with that for my main light source when I don't want the colors. Let's now move on to the Ambiance tab, and this is where they have some preset colors and animations that you can cycle through. They're separated into 3 categories: holiday, seasons, and events. While nothing too revolutionary, it serves its purpose of quickly finding a color scheme to fit the occasion. And as I'm cycling through these, you'll notice how the house on the app is updated in real time to reflect the new animation and color you've selected. This feature in the app I doubt will get much fanfare, but it's actually something I really enjoyed, and I hope more companies in the future will try to replicate this. Then you have your Customize tab. This is where you can select the color of every single LED on the run, as well as choosing from different animations and speed of those animations. They kept this feature pretty simple and straightforward, which I like. Now this is also where you'd set things up if you only wanted to have some of the lights turned on at night. Maybe you only wanted the lights by the windows on, or maybe just the lights on the corner of the house. Here's where you'd be able to customize it for your use case and then save it for quick access. And finally, let's dive into the Magic Show, which is their AI-powered options. The first thing I played around with was their Magic Dice setting. This randomly generates a quick text of what's being requested, and then the subsequent lighting effect based on the text generated. I found this to be a very easy way to cycle through different colors and animations, and then be able to save the ones that caught my eye. Then, under Inspiration, the app's AI generates other text-based inputs that you can choose to see if the results are what you're looking for. But what I'm most excited about is the Description tab, where you can input anything you want and have their AI system turn it into colors and animations. So the first thing I tried was typing in the name of the best American football team, the Minnesota Vikings. Their team colors are pretty much purple and gold, so those are the colors I was hoping for, and sure enough, I got purple and I got yellow. The yellow is a little bit washed out on my dark blue siding, but it got the colors right. Next, I tried Miami Nights Neon Glowing, and sure enough, there's a lot of pinks, teals, purples, and greens, which at least for me, I associate with neon. Then I tried Snowflake Falling Softly from the Sky, and since I used the word softly, I was mostly looking for an animation that was slowed down and not speeding through, and I definitely got a slower animation. I can also see how the actual animation could be interpreted as a snowflake falling from the sky, so I was pleased with how it handled the more complex phrase. So I think the best way to sum up the AI experience is that if I did want to make a Vikings purple and gold theme, I could go to the Customize tab, choose my colors, select all the lights I wanted to be purple and all the ones I wanted to be gold, then select the type of animation. This wouldn't be that difficult, but would probably take me at least a couple minutes. With the AI feature, all I had to do was type in Minnesota Vikings, and in a couple seconds it generated the color and animation for me. Now I realize there is only so much you can do with a single strand of lights, but what makes me think this technology is here to stay and not simply a marketing gimmick is that it is actually useful and something I can see myself using because it's going to save me time from creating custom animations using the DIY route. Now with that being said, where I really think this could all get very interesting is if Eufy tries to go the route of Govee and create a massive ecosystem of lighting products. If you're able to incorporate AI across many different products, the sky is the limit on the type of ways this could be implemented. Now a couple things to be aware of is that the power supply and controller is meant for indoor use, so I just used a plug in my garage for the install. However, if you're only able to hook it up outside, Eufy said you can contact their customer service and they'll send you a third-party waterproof box for free, which I think is a good move on their part. And the other thing that was left out of this kit, presumably to keep the cost down, is a music reactive option. There is no mic on the controller and no option for you to sync up these to react to sound. So if that's something that's important, then this product isn't going to be for you. Now one exciting thing I did want to share is that these are 100% compatible with WLED, and I'll be releasing a follow-up video here soon walking you through those complete steps on how to get this up and running if that's something you might be interested in. So in conclusion, Eufy did do a lot of things right with this product, and if your main reason for wanting lights like this is simply for a nice warm white light that you can use year-round, then these are $100 less than the Govee Pro Kit. And the other thing I really liked was the AI function. It was extremely useful in the sense that it's going to save you time from creating your own custom animations. I'm also really excited to see if Eufy goes all in and begins to release more LED products to create their own ecosystem in which the AI really could shine. So that about does it for this one. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day.